played at the Bakau Mini Stadium on Tuesday. Those were the headlines, and now look at the stories in detail. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV Nightly News, and I am Andy Kerma. As they took their oath of office at the State House, President Barrow urged the newly appointed and reassigned 5 ministers and 2 members of the Public Service Commission to work towards achieving their respective sectoral goals and to vigorously pursue the Civil Service Reform Initiative to build an effective and efficient public service. Alius Yuse was at the State House, and he now reports.
One by one, they took the prescribed oaths of office, allegiance and secrecy, administered by Aliu Njai, Secretary to Cabinet, in the presence of President Barrow, Cabinet ministers and relatives. Abdoulaye Sanyang, the new Minister of Interior, who until his recent appointment was the Inspector General of Police, Abdoulaye Job, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hadija Tussi, the new Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Hamad Nkeba, new Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Nani Juara, Minister of Petroleum and Energy, and Dr. Ismaila Sise, the new Minister of Information, respectively, swore to serve in their respective capacities without fear or favor, affection or ill will as they seek the help of God. President Barrow congratulated the appointees and thanked them for accepting to serve the country, reminding them that serving in cabinet comes with high expectations. He advised them to work closely with their technicians to achieve the sectoral goals.
Cabinet calls for collective leadership. Hence, ministers are expected to work as a team to support government through policy and program advocacy and implementation. I believe that the appointees are aware of this and will join us as a team members to support one another for attainment of the Yiriwa agenda. Our collective goal is to advance the cause of all Gambians. I have no doubts in their capabilities and ability to deliver on their mandates.
On public service, President Barrow, who also appointed Kemo Conte and Seinabu Ancha Sise as new members of the Public Service Commission, says 2024 is a year of delivery and due diligence to service delivery, as part of his government's reform agenda to ensure ethical behaviors and discipline, particularly among senior officials.
It is almost 6 decades of self-rule for the Gambian nation. Yet performance and service delivery in the country require much improvement. For this reason, let us no longer condone foot dragging, indifference, or negligence in service delivery. Our reform programs, whether within the civil service, state-owned enterprises, the security sector, or legal sector, demand positive transformation in work ethics and attitude to duty. To reiterate my government's position, 2024 is a year of delivery, due diligence, and quality service.
Hamad Nkeba, the Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, who until this appointment was Tourism and Culture Minister, said the cabinet reshuffle is in line with President Barrow's desire to achieve national development.
I want to make this very clear. Ministers cannot sit on the fence. You are either a minister in cabinet, you deliver, defend, work hard, defend the principle, or you go out of cabinet. We cannot run away from the insult and abuse. Everything is Adama Barrow. That has to end.
The new appointees are expected to build on successes registered by their predecessors and turn their challenges into opportunities for the development of their different sectors. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
The World Bank Group, in partnership with the Gambia's Ministry of Finance and the UN, held its Turnaround Allocation Steering Committee meeting on Tuesday to review the achievements and the implementation of the Turnaround Allocation Strategy and preparations for the 2024 fiscal year. Lena E. Igwenyiba tells us more.
The Turnaround Allocation TAA Steering Committee meeting was attended by ministers, permanent secretaries, UN agencies, civil society organizations and partners. TAA helps countries recover from conflict or crisis by supporting major reforms to improve governance, promote growth and achieve sustainable development. Abdoulaye Jallow, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, highlighted strategic objectives achieved by his ministry.
Out of the 15 indicators, 11 have been achieved and 4 are progressing steadily. None of the milestones and corresponding indicators has stagnated, thus attesting government's commitment under the leadership of the President to addressing the drivers of fragility, conflict, and violence.
Faye Borofis, the World Bank's resident representative, explains how the implementation of the TAA in the Gambia aims to transition the country out of fragility, given the country's history during the former regime.
For 3 years, the TAA has provided the Gambia with critical financing to support the country partnership framework, bringing the allocation for the past 2 years to about 246.24 million, more than double what it would have been without the TAA. For this upcoming second generation of the TAA strategy, I encourage the government to embrace reforms that effectively lay the foundations for a successful transition out of fragility.
Mushibidi Priscilla Rampidi, the acting United Nations resident coordinator, reiterated the UN system's commitment to supporting and strengthening institutions and systems in the Gambia.
It is significant, ladies and gentlemen, to note that the Gambia is the first country in which the United Nations and the World Bank are collaborating in the turnaround allocation process. We are committed to assist the World Bank to realize and monitor the milestones, especially those that are related to security, political stability, as well as governance and transitional justice.
The turnaround allocation strand is within the World Bank's International Development Association's Fragility, Conflict and Violence FCV envelope, which provides additional resources to IDA countries facing a variety of FCV risk. These top-up resources enable the IDA to target and tailor its support to the prevailing conflict or fragility dynamics specific to each eligible country. In 2021, the government of the Gambia received approval from the World Bank management to access the IDA 19 turnaround allocation, providing a 125% top-up of its performance-based International Development Association IDA's resource allocation. The country has successfully achieved critical milestones in the implementation of the strategy, ensuring continued access to turnaround allocation resources for the fiscal year 2024. Reporting for KTV News, I am Lena Igwenyeba.
The outgoing Minister of Tourism, Hamad Nkeba, and tourism sector stakeholders briefed the press on Wednesday about some of their achievements and challenges in recent years. The outgoing minister also commented on the National Assembly's Petition Committee's report into alleged corruption and abuse of office at the GT board. Lolly M. Kamara reports.
Over the last 7 years, stakeholders in the tourism sector say they have undertaken numerous initiatives towards improving Destination Gambia. The aim is to give tourists a better experience and a memorable holiday in the Gambia. Hamad Nkeba, the outgoing Minister of Tourism and Culture, outlined some of the key achievements registered by the Tourism Ministry since he assumed office in 2017.
When we took over in 2017, the arrivals numbers were at 100,000, 139, 150,000 arrivals a year. Prior to COVID in 2019, this government have raised the number to 235,000 arrivals. When COVID came, we went down to 90,000 and then crawled again. We are one of the fastest growing countries, fastest recovering countries in the tourism arrival, one of the best in the sub-region.
As tourism continues to play a significant role in improving the country's economy and enhancing its image, and with the increase in popularity and improved marketing by tourism officials, infrastructural development is crucial to build on the gains made. The Director General of the Gambia Tourism Board, Abubakar Kamara, speaks about the significant developments, key among them the renovation of craft markets in the Greater Banjul area.
We are working on building the products most of the time when we meet with our partners that bring tourists to Gambia, they will tell us that we really need to work on high quality beds. Because of that, we have decided to allocate, give people, allow some people to build some more hotel rooms.
Mamadou Singate, the Director General of the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, GTHI, also talked about important steps taken by the hospitality industry.
The current situation of investment in hotels and accommodation facilities up-country is as an offshoot of these training programs that we conducted in these areas. Since the completion of these trainings, we have seen the augmentation of service level in those areas in the countryside, but also the confidence of investors to open hotels in those areas.
Hasum Sise is the Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture.
With the support of UNESCO, we completed an inventory of the built heritage in Banjul. You know, the monuments, you know, the old houses, the printing houses, and so on. So now we want to engage the local youth in the city to be interpreting that heritage.
Hamad Nkeba clarifies some of the outcomes and recommendations of the investigation by the National Assembly Select Committee on Corruption-Related Matters at the Gambia Tourism Board. Tourism offers opportunities for emerging economies and developing countries, help create jobs, strengthens the local economy, and contributes to local infrastructure. In attendance at this briefing was newly appointed Minister of Tourism, Abdoulaye Job. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more local, international, and sports news stories. Stay tuned.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Gambia is proud to host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024, the second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace, and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture, and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back. You're watching QTV's Nightly News. As Muslims around the world observe Ramadan and Christians Lent, QTV's Jainaba Sonko engaged Muslims in the Gambia and a Christian about this year's periods of fasting.
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Muslim calendar and begins and ends with the appearance of the crescent moon. It is also the month of fasting, which involves abstaining from food, drink, and impure thoughts from sunrise to sunset. Fasting allows Muslims to understand the pain and suffering of millions around the world who live in poverty. This is meant to make the individual more grateful to Allah, the creator of all big things. Our Kijera is a Muslim, and these are some of her activities during the month of Ramadan.
Get back to Allah, recite the Quran, and do some more zikr. That's what I do.
Muslims prepare zuhur and iftar meals to begin or break their fast. During this time, some vendors increase the prices of basic food commodities. Ibrahim Jame shares his thoughts.
During Ramadan, people escalate prices. Then that means that our deen is not up to us. Because as a Muslim, you have to sympathize your fellow Muslims. But now everything rise up, everything is expensive. So because of people know that people need it, so they increase everything.
Research shows that Ramadan changes individuals' eating habits, and the body's biological clock also undergoes a series of changes. Dembo Jiba is grateful for the health benefits that come with these changes.
During Ramadan, health-wise, it is important. You can see, so many people, they will be complaining certain things, before Ramadan. When it is Ramadan time, I think most of those small sicknesses, become, things of the past.
This year, like other years, Ramadan and Lent coincide, and followers of both faiths are fasting. Ramatullah Amposa says it's a beautiful thing to have both religions observe fasting at almost the same time.
It has been awesome. Me, I'm a Christian, and at the same time, Muslims are observing Ramadan. It's very nice because me, as a Christian, I have friends who are Muslims, and some of my relatives also that are Muslims. And the Christian too, we are observing Lent. And it has been wonderful because during prayer time for the Christian, you see them going also for their masses, and also for the Muslims, they have to do their prayer. So it's wonderful. I'm so happy for this cordiality between the Muslims and the Christian, and I pray it will continue by God's grace.
Apart from fasting, Muslims pray more, read the Quran, give charity, engage in family gatherings and community service, and prepare for Eid al-Fitr, locally known as Korite, marking the end of Ramadan. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
We'll now shift our attention to news outside the country. In Senegal's presidential election, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the backup candidate of the officially dissolved PASTEF party following Sonko's disqualification from running, is widely seen as one of the favorites to win. Analysts say he will seek to capitalize on Sonko's popularity, especially among Senegal's unemployed youth. But who is Bassirou Diomaye Faye? Here is Mamadou Memboj with a profile.
If Amadou Ba of Benno Bokk Yakaar represents the conservative end of the political spectrum, Faye is the flag bearer of the radical end. And nowhere is the difference more dramatically demonstrated than on their stated policies on the CFA franc. Faye is among a growing number of voices in Francophone Africa agitating for the abandonment of the French-backed currency, increasingly being regarded, especially among the youth, as a relic of colonialism. But Ba, the technocrat, with more than a decade of serving in senior government positions, is more cautious. He talks about reform, not abandonment. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, 44 years old this year, was born in Mbour, 80 miles south of Dakar. Had it not been for Sonko's disqualification in the presidential race, perhaps none of us would have heard of him or indeed be interested in him. But fate came knocking on his door, and here we are. He's running to become the next president of Senegal. The only question now is, can he pull it off? He holds a master's degree in law and is a graduate of Senegal's prestigious National School of Administration. He joined the Taxes and Estates Department and met Sonko, a fellow graduate of the school, through the Taxes and Estates Union created by PASTEF in 2014. And joining the political group, he quickly became one of its leaders, serving as Secretary General. He was placed in preventive detention in April last year for criticizing the justice system. His release came last week following passage of an amnesty law in the National Assembly. He has stated during the campaign that his team's vision is to make Senegal a just, prosperous and sovereign nation anchored in strong values. This vision, he says, advocates the need to find new paths for Senegal's economic and social development based on the values of patriotism, hard work, ethics and fraternity. He has pledged to renegotiate government contracts with corporations in sectors ranging from energy and mining to fishing. He says he will reduce presidential powers, including the reintroduction of the vice presidency. He has also pledged to equally distribute profits out of a gas field that is expected to start production this year. For the first time in Senegal's history, an incumbent will not be on the ballot. The two frontrunners have been doing their best to frame the election as between two choices. At a recent rally, Ba urged people to vote for experience and competence instead of entrusting the reins of the country to adventurers. According to Sonko, the greatest danger facing Senegal today is Amadou Ba, denouncing him as a billionaire civil servant who will be the president of foreign countries. C'est la guerre, and tantalizingly unpredictable. On Sunday, Senegal decides. For QTV News, I am Mamadou Mbodj.
From Mamadou Mbodj's profile, we'll now shift our attention to the latest in sports. In sports news, Marimo drew 0-0 with Banjul United in Week 17 of the GFL First Division League match played at the Bakau Mini Stadium on Tuesday. Our sports reporter Momodu Gajaga was there and he now reports.
Marimo Football Club, 10th in the league standings, played against 8th place Banjul United, with both teams desperately needing match points to boost their season. It was a close game in which chances were few and far between. Marimo, despite the stalemate, had more goal-mouth efforts. It took just 5 minutes for Marimo's Modu Mane to get one of the best chances of the game. A corner kick from the right was perfectly connected, only for him to miss the target. Raymond Jatta should have scored for Marimo after a counter-attack with only the keeper to beat, but his effort was saved. In the first half, Malik Jobate came close for Marimo with a shot on the half-hour mark. Banjul United's Baba Cisse had a shot very close to goal, but flashed it a little wide. 5 minutes before the end of the regulation time, Famara Jaju had a golden chance for Banjul United, but couldn't keep his composure when it mattered most, and the opportunity was lost. Both sides tried to keep possession by exchanging beautiful passes. However, the Bakau Mini Stadium pitch is in a very bad shape for teams wanting to play free-flow football. Both coach Mamadou Diallo of Marimo and Sheikh Tijan Job, Banjul United's assistant coach, gave their reactions to the stalemate and the condition of the pitch.
We are expecting to win today because we create a lot of chances, but we couldn't capitalize on our chances. So we end of draw. I think it's better than going home with 0. Yeah, that is the reality. The pitch is not good, The pitch is just equal like Manjai. So they say Manjai is good, but, Bakau is a little better than Manjai, And then the ball quality even. The balls, today we play with very, very poor balls.
Yeah, it was a very tactical game, full of space. We didn't utilize on our chances, but we are organized to try and make sure we defend well and avoid taking a goal so that at least we should have capitalized on our chances then. But nonetheless, it's good. We go with 1 point and we prepare on the next game. Of course, that is what we are known for by United, try to put the ball in the ground, at least play football from the behind and try to connect passes and make transition. But the pitch didn't allow us to do so.
The result of the game hasn't changed the position of both teams in the table. However, from complaints of Banjul United and Marimo coaches, it is clear they will want to play their next league game on a better pitch. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. At the swearing-in ceremony at the State House, President Barrow urged the newly appointed and reassigned ministers and Public Service Commission members to work towards building an effective and efficient public service. The World Bank Group, in partnership with the Gambia's Ministry of Finance and the UN, held its Turnaround Allocation Steering Committee meeting on Tuesday to review the achievements in the implementation strategy. The outgoing Minister of Tourism, Hamad Nkeba, and tourism sector stakeholders briefed the press on Wednesday about some of the achievements and challenges in recent years. In international news, Senegal's presidential election, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the backup candidate of the officially dissolved PASTEF party, is widely seen as one of the favorites to win if he capitalized on Sonko's popularity. In sports news, Marimo drew 0-0 with Banjul United in Week 17 of the GFL First Division League match played at the Bakau Mini Stadium on Tuesday. Well, that's all we have for you in this bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another news bulletin. Thanks for joining us.